Back at you one more again with another piece of long form content. Today we're going to tear apart and demo this completely rotted front porch steps. As you can see, the first step was not attached. You see those cinder blocks are completely deteriorated. That happens from the freeze and thaw period. Water getting in, moisture getting in, and it broke the cinders down completely. It's why cinder blocks are no longer used, and now concrete blocks are used. They did not know back in the day when making cinder blocks that they couldn't handle water and would ultimately decay, but this is what happens. So now we're getting out our sledgehammer, our jackhammer, our pick, our pry bar, what have you. We're completely removing it to below grade or just even with grade. It all depends on what kind of shape we're in. We're trying to get down until we hit a footing. Now that we got it mostly down, we see that we're cleaning to what is actually a concrete footing. We do our measurement, we do our layout, we completely spray everything clean, get all the debris off, then we're going to hit it with a bonder. Next, we're going to form it. We're going to get our rebar out. We're going to be tying in vertically and horizontally from the existing footing and the foundation behind. We're going to be pouring our first step, which is a 6-inch step. Once the limestone is on, we will have our 7.5 inch. This is actually a 5.5. We use a 2x6 as a form, which is actually 5.5 inches. Next, we do our layout, and it's time to lay our blocks. And we're going to be hitting those rebar that we had in there from beforehand. The rebar lock in the block and keep anything from shifting or moving should it do so. Next, we are laying our second, third, and fourth step on top of our first step, aka our base or concrete platform. That concrete was 4,500 PSI concrete. Now we're using concrete block. We are entirely laying the steps. We are then filling the steps with concrete mix, and we are laying it with type M mortar, and then we are filling it in with more concrete mix. We are then scratch coating it. Now we got our batch mixed up. We have our Acryl 60, which acts as our fortifier. We put it in our mix. We paint the backs of our stone with the fortifier water that we were just using. We lay our cultured stone starting with the corners first, and then we lay inward. We have our laser level on here, which is our HUPAR. Once we have that on, we check level side to side, and we check plumb up and down, and we lay to make sure we hit our plumb line so it is exactly plumb, level, and square. We then wet the back, and then we cement it on with our mud, and we groove it out. This is how we lay each and every stone. We do the corners first, and then we run in between. This is an on bond thing, so you want all half bond going all the way around. This is not a stack stone. This is a jointed stone. This is Kentucky Blend limestone, Dutch quality. So we're going to be filling these joints in with our grout bag once we get it all laid. Now you'll see we had that all steps are 7.5 inch up to the platform, which is also 7.5. They're all even. They're all also 12 inches wide. So we have 12 inches of run. We have our 7.5 inches of rise. They are pitched away from the home. Now we are, after we squeeze everything in with our grout bag, we pull out our brush, we use our finger, we shape the joints. We let them sit about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and after we shape them, we brush them with our paintbrush and our whitewash brush. Then we let them sit till the next day. We come back, and it's time to paint everything down with some water. Then we paint our bonder on, which is our adhesive. Next, we get our type M cement for the limestone. We spread it, we groove it out, we lay it. We go get our limestone. Now we had to keep the existing rails on this one. They wanted to keep it and then work around it as they're not going to replace it for a year or so. Wasn't in their budget. So you'll see how we do that in a minute too. We cut beneath and then we do the joint to match the joints below for all the cultured stone. We then lay up all the steps. As you can see, the bonder is still on all of them. We wet the bottom of the limestone as well and we bond that. Now it's time to cut. We cut and we leave a 1/2 inch, which will be rock facing off with our chisel. Next, we'll be drilling for our existing rail. Now this rail looks like it's stuck in. We're going to prop it up and stick the limestone underneath. We then have our anchor cement. That is a rapid set anchor cement non-shrink grout that we'll be filling back in where that was. Now it's time to shape all of the joints behind the limestone. We shape them. Once they get hard, we then brush them out. We clean them off, and that will help us give our nice, sleek, finished look. Like I said, the limestone is all 12-inch limestone. We all have the same overhang, 1-inch overhang. So we have our 7.5-inch rise and our 12-inch tread going all the way up. It's all uniform.